These are the different deals I'm involved with. Mike is very stealthy. We sat together over the summer and he gave me some things to do, and I haven't done all of them. He's like, "Hey, I want you to do a presentation, talk about all the different deals that you're involved in." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Because people ask me, like, "How many deals you in?" I'm like, "I don't know, more than 10, I'm going to say." But okay, we're going to start with this one. Approved building lot in Farmington, New York. It's my very first deal. Mike can see this from his backyard. Okay. This was a ground up development. I sat with Mike, got the confidence to purchase this property. But also after talking with Mike, I learned up the ground up development. It takes a long time. I don't have the patience or attention for that, I'll admit. But with this property, I paid $18,000 for it on November of 2018. Sold it 3 years later for $100,000 cash. What we did was, originally it was approved for 5,400 square feet of storage. After 2.5 years, meeting with zoning boards, Mike talked about that process of ground up development. It took 2.5 years of meeting with the zoning board to get this thing approved to build 13,200 square feet. I don't know if you ever met with zoning boards. When you meet with them, if you don't have everything you need, or if they want something extra, they'll like come back in 30 days. My good Lord, that took forever. Okay. King Street self-storage. This is the one Chris Michaels and I were involved with. 9,000 square feet. We purchased it August of 2020 for $210,000. Our projected value on this thing in 2 years, we thought it'd be worth like $370,000, $400,000. It's currently listed for sale for $980,000. This was ugly. It was 31% occupied at purchase, but there's room to expand on this one. The Rebels involved in this one, this is where the partnerships come in. Okay, this is where I'm going to talk about the different people who are involved in these deals. So we had Chris Michaels. He made a $40,000 wholesale fee. Shane and Andrea Chapin, I talked about them earlier. They're the operators here. Steve Kavanaugh. I invested $20,000 in this deal. Now it's worth $80,000 plus, and I get quarterly dividends on it. Hideaway Storage, Ebensburg, Pennsylvania, 21,000 square feet. Purchased it March 21 for $480,000. Anthony Pernelli, he was my partner on this one. He's the operator. He recently bought me out at the value of $862,000. That's what we felt that the storage facility is worth. Rebels involved in this, Chris Michaels, $60,000 wholesale fee. Anthony Pernelli. I invested $50,000 into this. I earned back $56,000 on top of the $50,000 I put in less than 2 years. Morganton Storage, Morganton, North Carolina, 14,000 square feet, purchased April 21 for $695,000. Currently have it up for sale for $1.4 million. If you want property that's turnkey, these last two properties I talked about, they're turnkey, they're ready to go, they're bankable. And a nice expansion play here too. There's room on this property to expand on. Okay, Rebels involved in this, Masha Klapanova. If you haven't had a chance to meet with her, she recently just became a U.S. citizen after 14 years. She's a U.S. citizen right now, so it's a pretty cool story. Great person, great operator. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Where's Ian? There he is. LFG Mini Storage. That is the name of the property. Denham Springs, Louisiana. When I heard what the name of this thing was going to be, I'm like, I got to be involved in this one. Pretty cool. I think when he talked to his lawyer's like, you're going to call it what? So I'm like, I got to be in on this one. 13,000 square foot storage, purchased April 21 for $300,000. Right now, we think the current value on that's $700,000. Turnkey is ready to go. Rebels involved, Mr. LFG himself, Ian Horowitz, and many non-rebels too. This one, Ian, he might talk about a little bit, set it up as a syndication. He knows all about syndications, and he's pretty cool. I don't know a lot about syndications. When I have a question, I call Ian. So it's great to have this Rebel network to be able to call on people. Hey, I don't know about this deal. What do you think? This, that, the other. That's a cool thing about the Rebel network that Mike Wagner set up. So Johnson Space Center, that is the actual name of the place. The guy who owned it, last name was Johnson, so he calls it Johnson Space Center. It's in Wyoming, New York. 8,800 square feet on 10 plus acres. We purchased it 7 of 2021 for $440,000. It's currently for sale for $800,000 with some owner financing available. So if you're interested in this, give me a shout, let me know. I'm in business with this with my good friend John Stevens. He set up owner financing on this. Pretty cool how he set this up. The seller said, I'll finance half of this at 6% interest, 30-year payments. Okay, these payments, let me explain for a minute. It started, the first payment was $50. The second payment is $100. The owner financing he set up, the increments go up with $50 every month. Okay, now, yeah, it's accruing interest on it, but the payments on that part of it's only $50 more every month. It's a pretty cool deal he set up. Rebel's involved in this, John Stevens, and my son Trevor Spear. He's a vested partner in this deal. Macon Storage Center in Macon, Georgia. Okay, this is 21,000 square feet. Shane Chapin came to me on this one. I'm like, this looks like a good deal, but you know, what are we missing here? What's the fatal flaw? Mike Wagner always talks about that. Look for a fatal flaw in a self-storage facility. Okay, purchased it for value. Okay, we purchased for $600,000. We thought the projected value after a year would be about $817,000. Right now, this property is under contract for $1.3 million. Okay, purchased it for $600,000 a little bit over a year ago. It's under contract now for $1.3 million. Rebel's involved in this. This is probably why it's so successful. Shane and Andrea Chapin. That's their picture in front of a cruise ship. He sent that to me. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You're on another cruise. They're an awesome couple. Like I said, if you ever get a chance to talk with them, they're great. Ken Holmes, talked about him a little bit earlier. Brent Hendricks, he's somewhere in this room. Where are you, Brent? Oh, he might. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. What's his room number? Let's go get him. Ian, go get him. All right. Brent Hendricks, Mr. FFF. What's that mean? He and I have talked about this. He has a thing, he calls it Family Fun Fridays. Every Friday, he tries not to work. He spends time with his family. So, hey, how's your FFF going? So, great guy. He'll be floating around. You'll probably find him better at night. He and I were up till, we were up late last night. I'll just leave it at that. With a few other rebels. It was a lot of fun. Steve Kavanaugh was involved in this. Kenny Bolterman is involved in this one. Michael Stahl, Bob Ross, Tom Meunier, Brad Hoffmeyer, Joe Lababera, plus a few others. I'm sorry if I missed you. On the paperwork, it just said the LLC name, so I'm not exactly sure who they were. Okay, Star Self Storage, Melrose Place, Roanoke, Virginia. This was a fun one. That's Andrew Leadham up there. He's the guy I was talking about who quit his job last month. This is self-storage facility. There's 2 of them he's involved in, and these things are just going to explode soon. 14,500 square feet, purchased November 2022 for $440,000. Current value, we think, is about $620,000. This is competing Rebels Unite. What happened with this deal was I was staying in Roanoke, Virginia. Called and talked to the seller. He's like, oh, I'm currently talking to a guy about this deal. And I'm like, oh, well, who are you talking to? He says, Andrew Leadham. Like, really? So what I decided to do is instead of competing with Andrew and drive the price up, I'm like, hey, dude, let's connect up. Let's get together and do this deal together. This was an ugly property. You can see by the taxi cabs and stuff, all that was there before we purchased it. We're like, we're going to buy this, but those taxi cabs have to be gone. So the current owner took care of all that with a heavy lift. Right now it looks great. That's a picture on the other side when I'm with Andrew. That's after we got it painted. So Andrew is the Rebel involved in that one. All right. Star City Storage, Plantation Road, Roanoke, Virginia. Same thing, 17,000 square feet. Purchased it November 2021 for $1.1 million. The current value of this property is $1.8 million. This is a very interesting twist on this one. After we purchased this property, it has a car wash on it. And I'm not a big fan of car washes. There's a lot of maintenance to them and stuff. But they work, they make money. And I want to buy storage. Has a gas station with it too that was currently leased. Shortly after we purchased the property, the person leasing the gas station asked us if he could buy it, if we'd sell it to him. We met with him, came to an agreement, came up with a plan. It's in process right now to divide it off. We're meeting with zoning boards and all that to get that taken care of. So it's taking a little bit of time. But we think after we sell the property, after we sell the gas station, it'll be worth about 1.4. So we got 1.8 now. We're going to sell a gas station. We're putting $625,000 back towards the property. We paid $1.1 million, and now it's worth 1.4. That was getting really creative with it. Another thing with this too, when we purchased it, I'm not a big fan of gas stations. We did the phase 1. We went through all that process. if you're looking at property that has a gas station on it, think about a phase one. If you don't know what that is, ask us later. Okay, Andrew Lee is involved with this one. Sem Self-Storage Center, Semmes, Alabama. 12,000 square feet. We purchased it November of 21 for $255,000. Current value, we believe, is about $600,000 on this. This property, we purchased it from an elderly lady who's super nice. We love this lady, Miss Claudette. We met with her, and when Ian and I, that's Ian on the other side, we're on a road trip. I meant to look up how many miles and how many storage facilities we looked at in a very few days. Ian and I, we met in Alabama, and we just drove around like crazy. We covered a lot of ground, and this was late at night when I was driving finally. And well, when we met with her, we found out she had Parkinson's disease, and we donate a portion of the profits to the Parkinson's Foundation in her name. Okay, that's the give back that you want to do. Why do you want to build a self-storage business? Maybe you want to give your money to charity. You can do that. That's what we're doing here. Expansion plans, we plan to add 25,000 square feet. This thing is full. Shane keeps raising rents. It's still full. So we purchased a piece of land next to it. We're going to add 25,000 square feet. Rebels involved, Kevin Weisner, great guy. He lives near there. He wanted to wholesale the deal out. I'm like, well, why aren't you buying it? Same thing. He just wanted to pay down some debt, and he's a great guy. I talk to him often. Shane and Andrea Chapin, once again. Chris Spears, she's an investor in that. That's my wife, Baby Doll. Ian Horowitz and Jason Balin. Jason Balin runs Hard Money Bankers. He gets very creative on finding financing, okay? He can help you with that. I call him Mr. Clutch. This deal, our finance person backed out last minute. So Ian's like, yo, let me call Jason. Let's see if we put the deal together. And we did. That's what you have to do. That's the thing of this network is you have so many people that you can call on and rely on. Longview Self-Storage, Longview, Texas. 22,000 square feet. We purchased this January of 22 for $920,000. We currently have it under contract for $1.3 million. Okay. This has an apartment that was used by the previous caretaker. We opted not to rent it out. You're going to find a lot of properties that have apartments on them. I prefer not to rent those out. I really don't want tenants in my self-storage facilities. But back in the day, they built a lot of these self-storage facilities with apartments. Once again, I'm back in with Masha on that. That's Masha there in the center. She's great. Find her on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. She's fantastic. I love working with her. Okay. A+ Storage, Glencoe, Alabama. 16,000 square feet. We purchased this March 22 for $420,000. Current value on this is $650,000. Buying this one helped the sellers out tremendously. Sometimes you don't know what's going on in other people's lives. And what we found out was going on with the sellers with this one, we realized we really helped them out of a jam. And you have to think about that too. When you're looking at self-storage facilities, time and circumstances change a lot of things. And that's the thing, just stay in contact with them. We had a conversation last night at the table. I talked to a guy, he doesn't want to sell. Well, he doesn't want to sell today, but he's going to want to someday. Stay in contact with him. His circumstances might change. Okay, Rebels involved with this one. Gabriel Pestos made a $35,000 wholesale fee. I mentioned him earlier. He was a restaurant owner. Shane and Andrea Chapin, they're in on this one. Shane's pretty cool. Every time he buys a self-storage facility, he holds up what number it is. This is number 4. Oops. I just forwarded it to another one. Okay, this number 4 for him. Somebody said when he got to 5, how are you going to take the selfie? He's like, I'll just have Andrea hold the camera at that time. So, and he's surpassed that already. Okay, Best Self-Storage, Moriarty, New Mexico. Okay, if you don't know where that is, it's outside Albuquerque. Gabriel got this thing under contract. He called me. He's like, hey, I got this deal in Moriarty, New Mexico. I'm like, where is that? So I had to call Mr. New Mexico there and back. I said, where is this place at? So this is the before and after with this one. We wholesaled this deal out. What does wholesale mean? We got it at a good price. We bought it, and then we sold it and left lots of, they call it meat on the bone. We left lots of money for the next person buying it. 6,000 square foot of storage, 4,800 square foot of covered boat and RV storage. We purchased this in June of 2022 for $320,000. We sold it and closed on it November 29, 2022 for $500,000. Got in, got out, quick flip. Seller's happy. He got exactly what he wanted. You know, people are like, well, didn't you kind of take advantage of seller? No, we asked him, what do you want for your property? He's like, oh, because I'd like to get 320,000 for it. Actually, it was less because of a wholesale fee, but he got what he wanted. He wanted to move too. He's like, I want to move, but I don't know what to do with this storage facility. We're like, man, this is perfect timing. The Rebels are happy with this one. And the new buyer was happy. He had 1031 money he had to use, and he just got it done, and everybody's happy. Gabriel Pestos involved with this one. He made a $50,000 wholesale fee on this property. Okay, people are like, 50,000? He didn't work that hard. He made $50,000. No, he didn't work that hard, but this still was a great deal with this wholesale fee on there. Gabriel knows what he's doing on that. Shane and Andrew Chapin, once again, this was number 5 for them. Chris Spear, my wife, she's involved. She's invested in this one. Our daughter, Ashley Spear, she's floating around here somewhere. There she is, up front again. She's moved to a different seat. That's good. Okay. Okay. We talked about that last night. Okay, everybody's got to sit with someplace new. All right. Jeremy Fisher. He's a Rebel. He lives up in New York. Good friend of mine. Mike Wagner knows him too. Nick Paul. Nick Paul did me a favor, and I owe him a dinner. Okay. Nick Paul went up there and took some pictures for me and sent them to me. And he and his wife, we will be taking them out to dinner. So, Nick, you got a dinner coming. Okay. And Chris Butler. Chris Butler, awesome wholesaler, great guy, recently married, gonna be a new dad soon. He talked to me about wholesaling this one. I'm like, hey, how's that work? And he walked me through it. So Chris Butler, this is the size of the network here. These are the people that you can work with, okay? That's why how I built this business. Okay, Singing River Mini Storage, Singing River, Mississippi, 16,000 square feet, bought it in September 22 for $475,000. 2-year projected value on this is $800,000. Ken Holmes posted this wholesale deal on the Storage Rebellion Network. Philip stepped up, said, hey, I'll buy this from you. And so it was out there for anybody to buy. Philip stepped up and bought this, Philip Thomas. This one, we had an insurance issue with this one. The current owner pays $6,000 a month. So we put that into our pro forma of how much insurance should cost us. We think it should be about the same. He started getting quotes. He got a quote for up to $38,000 for insurance on a 16,000 square foot property. Okay, don't let that beat you down. Okay, keep looking, but you got to find the right insurance. We actually called the current insurance company, like, we won't insure it at $6,000. Okay, so Philip Thomas pressed through and did that. That's a picture of Philip Thomas right there. Why is he smiling so much? Philip Thomas is into this property for $10,000. That's how much his investment is on this property. Okay, so we got Philip Thomas involved, Ken Holmes, Steve Cavanaugh once again, Mike Romano, I know he's floating around here, Tom Meunier, Mike Moreno, and Ben Burkett. Ben was a great guy. Ben and Ken actually told Philip to give me a call, like, hey, you can't find financing on this? Give Scott a call, see if he can help you put the deal together. I don't take that lightly. I take that as a real compliment that they did that. I was really honored that they did that too, that those guys told Philip to give me a call. So I don't know if I'm one of the buts. I said, I'd invest in self-storage, but I can't find any money. Well, I'll tell you what, you find a deal. If it's a deal, give me a call. We'll find the money. We'll keep you in on it too. So that's how we work. All right. Old 40 Storage, Abilene, Kansas, 14,000 square feet. Bought it November 2022, $600,000. We're going to be putting this up for sale for $840,000. Backstory, Colin Andrews needed someone to close quick. Mike Marino says, hey, why don't you give Scott a call, see if you can put this deal together. The nice thing about this, Colin called me. He said, hey, I got bank finance who was already approved. Was somebody in this room? The vendor name again? The banker that we have. What's that? Who's the banker? The vendor banker is here? Cody, yeah, Cody. So I got to find Cody. Cody helped us finance this thing. He was approved, and the deal is ready to go. Rebels involved, Colin Andrews, Shane Andrew Chapin. This is 6-1 for them. Mike Moreno, Chris Spear, and a non-Rebel doctor who signed a loan for 10% of the deal. He's a doctor. He was bankable. He gets 10% equity in this deal. Okay, approved building lot, Churchill, Tennessee, 2.78 acres. We can go into it. Wholesale for $180,000 last month. Gabriel's involved, made a $20,000 wholesale fee. I made a $20,000 wholesale fee. We split it. RJ Ewing, he does ground up development. Last one, Bull Valley, McHenry, Illinois. 16,000 square feet. We bought it January of 23 for $800,000. We think the 2-year projected value on this is $1.4 million. Grant secured seller financing, $400,000 at 6% with interest-only payments. Got really creative on that. Rebels involved, Grant Griffiths, Ashley Spear. She's the best partner in this one. And that's it. Thank you, everybody.